Nex has been out for 9 months. It has. It feels like it came out not too long ago, but it also feels like it's been out for like 10 years. Do you know why? Well, because it actually did come out 10 years ago, back at RuneScape 2. In RuneScape 2, when Nex was around, there were Turmoil and Soul Split prayers. Best weapon was a Chaotic Crossbow, and you also had Pack Yaks and Bunyips. Anybody remember the Bunyip? Stuff like that. So, like, Nex was way easier back then. In old school, there's no Soul Split. There's no Pack Yak. Guess what? You just need to stack as many brews as you can in your inventory and try and last as long as possible to maximize your kills per hour. It's not fun. Like, there's a very large sentiment in the old school community that Nex is a shit boss. It's just not enjoyable. It has some of the best drops of any boss in the game. Like, the drops from Nex, those could be, like, they could just take the Nex drop table and move it to an entirely new raid. Like, Raids 4, Raids Shadow Legends. It's not sponsored. Like, it's just so good, but it comes from a God Wars boss. It's kind of weird. We'll get into the drops later. Maybe chat about that closer to the end. I wanted to kind of go over Nex. What's wrong with it, in my opinion? Again, this is an opinion piece. If you don't like my opinion, like, that's fine. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Okay, so, yeah, Nex. Like, the first thing about Nex, let's just go from, like, when you get there. What happens? Well, I mean, you gotta get the key. You need one of, like, a piece from each of the bosses to get into the frozen door, and then you're good. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's fine. That takes, like, 20 minutes to an hour. Then you gotta get KC once you're in there. To do that, you want to wear an ancient item. That's cool. Again, fitting. You gotta get 40 KC. What they've done with the combat achievement diary thingamajigglies is you actually can do that at 30 KC. You can go into the boss room, aka the bank room, if you have the Grandmasters done at 30. Or you can do it at like 38 with the, I think, mediums, and 36 with the elites or hards or something like that. Something around there. I'm not a mathematician, so how would I know? Once you get the KC, sorry, well, hold on. How do we get KC? Well, you kill the thingies. Quickest way to do that is to attack everything in the room with a blowpipe and a Serp Helm, because that means if you do any damage, you hit anything but a 0, it will guarantee venom that monster. So that's a really quick way of getting KC, because it's multi. You just kill all of them, venom everything, kill stuff. You can get 40 KC, or however many you need, based on your diaries, within like 3 minutes. Like, it's quick. It's like Bando's KC. So it's nice that, you know, Saradomin, you never kill the minions to get into Sarah for a Sarah trip. You just go and you get a key, and then you do it yourself. Same with Armadil. You don't kill Avian Seas to get in. First off, because you're losing Avian Seas off of your Slayer task. So, anyways, getting KC is good. Everything you kill gives more KC than its actual, like, value. It's not 1 for 1 like all the other bosses. It's like 5 to 1 and 4 to 1. It's quick, so it's good. That's one of the you know what? Thank you, Jagex, for letting us have nice things. You got a little bank there next, and, you know, jump into the bank, grab your stuff, chill, try and find a free-for-all team if you want, go to a mass world if you want. Whatever the case is, it's nice that there's a bank there. I think that if there wasn't, this boss would be infinitely worse. So, once you step into the boss room, it takes about like 17 minutes for the boss to spawn. And when it does spawn, it does like a monologue. It recites the entire Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 movie script. And then it has like this weird 5-second thing where it stands there and you attack it early. And the damage doesn't go, and then you can attack it. Basically what I'm saying is, like, who thought that was a good idea? That's ridiculous. Cut that shit down. So when it spawns and it starts yelling out the names of the 4 minions, make that half as long. Speed it up, doubly, boy. Very much so required. I also think that there should be like a bell or something at the entry, so you can step in. Say you're in a duo, you and your partner step in instead of waiting a full minute to kill the boss. There should just be like a bell. You can ring it. It'll instantly spawn. It'll take its, 10 seconds to do its monologue thing, and then it starts. Like, that's a no-brainer. That's an easy change. That will actually speed up kills per hour as well. Next is like 12.5 mil per hour profit right now, 9 months after release. That's insane. It should be around 5 to 6 mil an hour based on, all the other money makers in the game. Like, Nex isn't harder than Chambers. Nex isn't harder than it's just annoying. So nobody does it, and the drops are really good. So I think they definitely could get away with making it more kills per hour. The price of the items would probably go down a little bit, but again, yeah, that's fine. You also want to make the boss, it's currently, if you can attack the boss while it's doing its monologue, make that shit so you can't even attack it. Just get rid of the attack option. It's ridiculous. It's kind of cool that people can, time it tick perfect to get maximum DPS and a slight advantage over other people, but honestly, it's just shit design. The number one problem, in my opinion, with Nex, is that it hits way too high through prayer. It's just annoying. It's just, every 4 ticks, Nex damages one of the players, or multiple players, depending on which phase you're on. When it hits someone, if you're praying the right thing, it can still hit, 18s through prayer. It's too much. Because then every time it hits an 18, you sip a brew. And you just sip another brew, and you sip another brew. You're just chugging brews the entire time. It's insane. It's just not good mechanics. I think, right off the hop, cut the damage in half. If it hits you with mage, and you're praying mage, that should do half damage. That would be incredible. The other thing is, you want to stand in melee distance, pretty much the whole fight. If it melees you while you're praying mage, first off, there's no warning. You don't know when it's going to melee or when it's going to mage. And it's not like other monsters where, Nightmare, you see the attack charge up for 3 ticks and then it hits. With Nex, you don't know. It's just instant off prayer hit, and it can hit 32s through prayer. So you have to pray mage, and then it'll just melee you constant 30s. You literally, if it just melees you incessantly, and it never stopped and switched to another player, it would just kill you. You can't brew faster than the damage that it does. So again, Nex is a brew chugging simulation device, and it's awful. Make it so it hits less through prayer immediately. That would make the boss so much better. None of the other changes that I'm going to propose would even matter at that point. But yeah. So first phase, I'm just talked about the damage through the prayer. The minions. Yeah, the first minion there was some serious potential for this boss to just make use of lots of cool gear, reward people for bringing in extra switches and doing gear swaps and shit like that. Boost some of the value of crush items and whatever. But of course, just T-bow the minions. Yeah, just stand far away and hit them with a T-bow. That's best. It's ridiculous. I think from the start it would have been great. And again, all of these things I'm proposing, it might be too little too late, but I'd love for them to, each minion is just, either invulnerable or just, you hit half the damage, or it's got crazy high defense against the combat style that isn't the one that they're not weak against. My god, the sentence structure on that one was impeccable. So the first minion... say the first minion. I know the fourth minion's weak to crush. I can't remember what the first one's weak to. I think it's slash. No. First one's stab. Stab, and then range, and then slash, and then crush. I'm going based off memory, okay? So, cut me some slack. I haven't been to Nex in, a couple months, other than a few trips here and there. Also, why should I know? All you do is T-bow it. So, if the first one's weak to slash, make it so if you T-bow it, it only hits half. So, it's very much worth bringing a few melee switches with a slash weapon, like a Blade of Saildor. It's a 1x1, so the Blade of Saildor would actually be dope there. That's, immediately making use of some niche gear. The fact, if you're holy shit, I need to bring as many brews as I can't fit an 8-way melee switch. Well, you could if the boss hit less damage, alright? If it hit less through prayer, you'd be fine. If you get hit off prayer or you make a mistake, They could just make it so it hits higher, so it like balances out. It's the same as Phosani's Nightmare. If you do Phosani's right, you get the right prayer, it hits 0. You do the wrong prayer, it hits 80. Very good design. It is just skill-based rather than RNG-based, and I love that. We need more skill-based stuff in this game. There's only so many things you can do in RuneScape to make it skill-based, so yeah. I think the minions, first off, like, gotta hit them with the right style. That would be big. You know, first one slash, second one range, third one, no, the first one's stab. Third one being slash, that would be the Blade of Saildor, and the fourth one's crush. It would make it worth, like, bringing in a bludgeon or bringing in Inquisitor's pieces and stuff like that. I think they could also take the HP of the minions down by about 30%. They could just lower the HP on them just a tad, just a little bit. But also, why do they not drop anything but the thingamajigglies? Like, every other minion in, I say thingamajigglies, what are they called? The ancient ceremonial robes. Every other minion in God Wars, they drop food, they drop items, they drop stuff like that. Like, they should make it so they drop, like, for a cool sort of callback to, like, the nostalgia of God Wars, make them drop, like, a few bones, like 3 bones, or, like, 6 bones, or something. So, like, you could pick them up and bring Bones to Peach's tabs. Like, that's pretty fitting. Alternatively, just have them drop, like, some chili potatoes or some manta rays, like, similar to what all the other places drop. They could also have them drop, like, 1 prayer pot or a half dose prayer pot, half sip, suck. Somebody sucked off half of the prayer pot kind of thing. Also, Godsword shards. Why is the boss not drop Godsword shards? They could just slap a rare Godsword shard drop to the minions. Like, that's fine. They're alch value. It's just an extra little bit of cash that comes in. And also, if you're an Iron Man, it's a good way of getting Godsword shards. Yes, the minions. Well, the minions, they're okay, whatever. But that would be pretty cool if they could change them to that. Alright, so just working my way in my brain through the sort of chronological fight of Nex. The next one is the Shadow phase, where the farther away you are, the less damage it does. And that's good. I like that. That's a pretty cool mechanic. However, the boss will run to you, and now it's closer to you, and it's not good. You want to get rid of it. So, to do that, you need to stand... The meta is to stand under the boss. Everyone on your team does it. Coordinated. Kind of cool. And then the boss wiggles around a little bit, like a fucking worm on a rainy Saturday. And if you do that long enough, and you get lucky, boss will teleport back to the middle. If you get unlucky, and the boss wiggles, and wiggles far enough to one side, it will melee you. And now it won't teleport back to the middle. It's reset how long it is before it tellies back in the middle. So it's like 8 to 10 ticks, something like that, where if it can't attack anyone, it'll teleport. So that's the meta. Why not just make it so instead of being like RNG based and kind of like bug abusing by standing under the boss, just make it so if you hit it with a melee weapon, it tellies to the middle. Like, it just makes it so it's guaranteed, okay, we'll lose a bit of DPS here, because instead of hitting it with range, like, it's, you know, melee doesn't do any damage here. Just whack it with a melee weapon, it'll teleport away. So it's like, you know, when you're getting lawnmowered, there's the lawnmower attack, that at this point, like, if you get caught in the lawnmower, and you're not, like, 115 HP, or you don't have a Phoenix necklace, or you don't have combo food, like, you're dead. There's nothing you can do about it. It's so fucking frustrating. It kills people all the time. I know it's a skill thing, like, there are ways to make it so it never happens, but sometimes you just want to recline a little bit, and you make one wrong move, or you get kind of unlucky with it teleporting back to the middle, and you're dead. It's very frustrating. I think it'd be cool if you could just whack it with a melee weapon. Gosh, just make it so you have to hit it with a crush weapon, where a stab and slash doesn't work. I don't know. Make it so it's, like, guaranteed. If I'm getting lawnmowered, I can just hit it with melee, and it goes. That would be kind of cool. Next up would be the Blood phase. Honestly, Blood phase is kind of fine. Like, it's good where it is. Nobody gets too destroyed on that phase and, like, chugging brews. That one's just kind of good. The Ice phase, like, again, I like the mechanics on the Ice phase. It's got an attack where it freezes a teammate. You got to hit it with melee to get the person out of the ice box. And then also, it has the attack where if you're in melee distance, you get schmelted. This attack on the Ice phase drains your prayer by so much, and it hits so high through prayer. It's just, again, you're just chugging brews. their reasoning is like, okay, well, yeah, if you use a spectral spirit shield, it will cut the prayer drain rate in half. But like, it's still less prayer lost to just use a buckler, a twisted buckler, that gives more range, attack bonus, and damage to kill it faster. It's better to kill it faster than it is to wear a tanky shield that like saves your prayer. You will end up with more prayer by killing it faster. That's how it is. Efficiency wise, you don't bring a spectral. I think they should make it so it doesn't drain your prayer by nearly as much. Let's say it drains it by 5 prayer points per hit right now. Make it so it drains it by 2, and if you're wearing a spectral, it's by 0. And you can still have a spectral, have a use, whatever. But it's like crazy how much it drains your prayer. The final phase is okay. I like it. It's kind of cool. I think it would be also cool if it also prayed range at one point. I know this is like, it's an old boss from RuneScape 2, and they've just brought it over as is and not changed very much. But like, right now, you just camp your range gear. To negate damage, you use a bug by right-click following a teammate, so that the boss is trying to attack the player that is now forced under it. Anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you won't from my explanation. But if you do know, you know. Like, it would be cool if it was just like it switches from melee prey, range prey, soul split, and it goes in that order. Currently, it's just got no prayer, soul split, and melee prayer. It'd be cool to, like, you know, get some more switches in there, switch your gear, whack it a little bit, be good. Again, like, it's just, oh, you guys can hear Penny drinking her water. Penny, what do you think of Nex? Hey? She wagged her tail. I don't think she knows. Okay, back from the distraction. I think it would be great if, you know, it'd just be more engaging, and I like engaging, where you actually have to switch your gear. Make it so, again, if it's doing less damage through prayer, then that's great. I just don't, it's not good. Like, the meta is to, like, negate as much damage as you could. You used to be able to do the red X glitch bug, where the boss would freeze because you've clicked on something and that thing had an interaction that caused a red X cursor thingamajiggly. Man, it's just, make it so, I don't know. It's all right where it is. It could be cool if they made it so, like, everyone's got to switch their gear. If it attacked each person once in a row based on defense bonus. Currently, it attacks whoever has the lowest defense bonus, and then it goes to the second lowest, and then it goes back. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just annoying. All right, you kill the boss. It drops some items. What does it drop? Well, currently it drops a bunch of supplies. If they made it so that you know, it does less damage through prayer, like on the correct prayer, then they could remove a little bit of the drop of food and potions. If they also added food and potion drops to the minions, they could remove a little bit from the next drop table as well. The next drop table is fine where it is. You know, it has some cool drops like dragon bolts and like whatnot. I have nothing wrong with the regular drop table. One thing I hate that Jagex does is one boss will be just given 17 new uniques. And now they're struggling to find uniques for the next piece of content. And it's like, just don't load up one shitty boss with everything. Like, Bandos has Bandos top, Bandos bottom, tassets, hilt. Right? Next, they could have done Torva body, Torva legs, Torva helmet, hilt. Done. But they added the crossbow, and like, that's fine. They also added Zarai Vambraces. I just don't understand why they had to do that. They could have easily made it so the Zarai Vambraces came from something cool, like TOA, where you've got Masori top, bottom, you've got the friggin' helmet mask thing, whatever it's called, face gullet hider, and Masori Vambraces. Like, TOA is the same kind of thing. Like, I don't know, man, the ring drop from TOA being so common, it's like, why is that even a purple at that point? Just make that like a tertiary drop where you can get it every raid and it's a 1 in 100. Like, just get it off the purple drop table and make something like valuable, like the range gloves come from TOA. I just, they load it up, and it's too much, and it kind of sucks. Inquisitors from Nightmare could have been Inquisitor's helm, body, legs, and the mace. Done. That's it. You don't need the staff and the orbs and all that other shit. Like, add another boss that just has the Nightmare staff, the Nightmare orbs. I'm kind of pissed at Nightmare. This is a Nightmare video now. Same thing with Nex. They should have just done Torva and the hilt. They could have had another entire boss. Like, they've got King Black Dragon. Why not put a Queen Black Dragon? And Queen Black Dragon drops this new crazy crossbow called a Dragon Crossbow of Gargalon. And it's the same thing as a ZCB, but it just comes from another boss. Like, I don't know. I want more bosses. We went 2 years without a new boss. And then they just load up one boss with all of these drops. And then they just wait 2 years. And then they put another one and they load it up with drops. Like, space it out. And have it so there's less drops from one boss. But, like, I don't know. We just need variety. People burn out from this game because it's like, well, I guess I'm going to go do Nex for 600 straight hours. It's not enjoyable. It's too repetitive of content to be enjoyable. At least Tombs of a Masket, you can up and lower the difficulty. You can mess around with it that way. I just really think that that's a big problem. If there was one thing that I could do to the drop table with Nex, I know it'll never happen, but I would have had Zari Vambraces come from Tombs of a Masket, and then from Tombs of a Masket, I would get rid of the ward drop completely, the Ward of Elidinus or whatever it's called. And the ring, I would put the ring on the same drop table as the gems that you can get. The yellow gem, red gem, blue gem. I just, yeah, so Nex, what do you think? Like, are they going to leave Nex as is, but just introduce a Phosani version of Nex, where it's like a solo-only mode that has different mechanics? I feel like it's inevitable. Like, they're going to do it, but God, just fix Nex as it is, and you won't need to. They could just make it so Nex either scales to a solo, like if you go in as a solo, it has a little bit less HP. And like people could actually solo it, and maybe they'd enjoy that, but that's fine. They don't need to add a whole boss where it's only solo, whereas if you want to do it as a group, it's still shit. Like, I don't know, fix the boss as is right now by making a couple of these changes that I've proposed, and it would be in a much better spot. The game's supposed to be fun. It's not fun killing Nex. Getting your hole just largened by a shit boss that hits through prayer constantly, lowers your prayer, wastes your supplies, and not only that, drop rate, super high. It's kind of annoying. But anyways, let me know what you think. Thanks for, I mean, if you made it this far, you're in a special elite group of YouTube video watchers. I appreciate it very much. Drop a comment below. What do you want me to rant about next time? I'll get mad at anything. I'll fucking do it. Don't make me. Yeah, so if you want to chat, pop by the live stream. Flomple on Twitch. Drop a follow. Link in the description. Join the Discord. Donate to your local fire department. Find a cat on the side of the road and pick it up. Give it a bowl of milk and tell it it's a good cat. I don't know. I'm just telling you things to do. You can't do them if you don't want to. You can if you don't want to. But also, holy shit, this video is too long. Okay, goodbye.